Drum roll, please. The winner for the chapter book that we're reading next is Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I posted a poll on my Google Classroom requesting that students pick a book. I gave them the choice of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dark Diaries, The Second Bad Guys, Harry Potter, and Miss Meyer is on Fire, and I got the most votes for Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Let's go ahead and get started. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Greg Heffley's Journal by Jeff Kinney. September, Tuesday. First of all, let me get something straight. This is a journal, not a diary. I know what it says on the cover, but when my mom went out to buy this thing, I specifically told her to get one that didn't say diary on it. Great. All I need is for some jerk to catch me carrying this book around and get the wrong idea. Sissy, punch. The other thing I want to clear up right away is that this was my mom's idea, not mine. But if she thinks I'm going to write down my feelings in here or whatever, she's crazy. So just don't expect me to be all, Dear Diary this and Dear Diary that. The only reason I agree to do this at all is because I figure later on when I'm rich and famous, I'll have better things to do than answer people's stupid questions all day long. So this book is gonna come in handy. Gregory, tell us about your childhood. Were you always so smart and handsome? Here's my journal. Now shoo shoo. Like I said, I'll be famous one day, but for now I'm stuck in middle school with a bunch of morons. And it points to the morons. Let's just say, for the record, that I think middle school is the dumbest idea ever invented. You got kids like me who haven't hit their growth spurt yet, mixed with these gorillas who need to shave twice a day. Out of my way, runts. And then they wonder why bullying is such a big problem in middle school. If it was up to me, grade levels would be based on height, not age. But then again, I guess that would mean kids like Chirag Gupta would still be in the first grade. Today is the first day of school, and right now, we're just waiting around for the teacher to hurry up and finish the seating chart. So I figured I might as well write in this book to pass the time. By the way, let me give you some good advice. On the first day of school, you got to be real careful where you sit. You walk into class and just plunk your stuff down on any old desk, and the next thing you know, the teacher is saying, I hope you all like where you're sitting because these are your permanent seats. Ah! So, in this class, I got stuck with Chris Hosey in the front of me and Lionel James in the back of me. Jason Brill came in late and almost sat to my right, but luckily I stopped that from happening at the last second. Is this seat taken? Yes, yes. Next period, I should just sit in the middle of a bunch of hot girls as soon as I step in the room. But I guess if I do that, it just proves I didn't learn anything from last year. Greg, will you please pass this note to Shelley? Why, certainly, haha. The note says Greg is a dork. Man, I don't know what is up with girls these days. It used to be a whole lot simpler back in elementary school. The deal was, if you were the fastest runner in your class, you got all the girls. And in the 5th grade, the fastest runner was Ronnie McCoy. Nowadays, it's a whole lot more complicated. Now it's about the kind of clothes you wear, or how rich you are, or if you have a cute butt, or whatever. The kids like Ronnie McCoy are scratching their heads wondering what the heck happened. The most popular boy in my grade is Bryce Anderson. The thing that really stinks is that I have always been into girls, but kids like Bryce have only come around in the last couple of years. I remember how Bryce used to act back in elementary school. Girls are stinky poos. Yeah, I don't think girls are stinky poos. But of course, now I don't get any credit for sticking with the girls all this time. Like I said, Bryce is the most popular kid in our grade, so that leaves all the rest of us guys scrambling for the other spots. The best I can figure is that I'm somewhere around 52nd and 53rd most popular this year. But the good news is that I'm about to move up one spot because Charlie Davies is above me and he's getting his braces next week. I tried to explain all this popularity stuff to my friend Rowley, who is probably hovering right over around the 150 mark, by the way. But I think it just goes in one ear and out the other with him. Wednesday. Today we had phys ed. So the first thing I did when I got outside was sneak off to the basketball court and see if cheese was still there. And sure enough, it was. That piece of cheese has been sitting on the blacktop since last spring. I guess it must have dropped out of someone's sandwich or something. After a couple days, the cheese started getting all moldy and nasty. Nobody would play basketball in the court where the cheese was, even though that was the only court that had a hoop with a net. Then one day, this kid named Darian Walsh touched the cheese with his finger, and that's what started this thing called the cheese touch. It's basically like the cooties. If you get the cheese touch, you're stuck with it until you pass it on to someone else. Ah! Scream! The only way to protect yourself from the cheese touch is to cross your fingers. But it's not that easy remembering to keep your fingers crossed every moment of the day. I ended up taping mine together so they'd stay crossed all the time. I got a D in handwriting, but it was totally worth it. This one kid named Abe Hall got the cheese touch in April and nobody would come near him for the rest of the year. This summer, Abe moved away to California and took the cheese touch with him. I just hope someone doesn't start the cheese touch up again because I don't need that kind of stress in my life anymore. Thursday. I'm having a seriously hard time getting used to the fact that summer is over and I have to get out of bed every morning to go to school. My summer did not exactly get off to a great start, thanks to my older brother, Roderick. A couple of days into summer vacation, Roderick woke me up in the middle of the night. He told me I slept through the whole summer, but that luckily I woke up just in time for the first day of school. Shoot! You might think I was pretty dumb for falling for that one, but Roderick was dressed up in his school clothes, and he set my alarm clock ahead to make it look like it was the morning. Plus, he'd closed my curtains so I couldn't see that it was still dark out. After Roderick woke me up, I just got dressed and went downstairs to make myself some breakfast, like I do every morning on a school day. But I guess I must have made a pretty big racket because the next thing I knew, Dad was downstairs yelling at me for eating Cheerios at 3 in the morning. It took me a minute to figure out what the heck was going on. After I did, I told Dad that Roderick had played a trick on me and he was the one that should be getting yelled at. Dad walked down to the basement to chew Roderick out, and I tagged along. I couldn't wait to see Roderick get what was coming to him. But Roderick covered up his tracks pretty good, and to this day, I'm pretty sure Dad thinks I've got a screw loose or something. Friday. Today, at school, we got assigned to reading groups. They don't come right out and tell you if you're in the gifted group or the easy group, but you can figure it out right away by looking at the covers of the books they hand out. Einstein as a child. Bink says boo. I was pretty disappointed to find out I got put in the gifted group because that just means a lot of extra work. When they did the screening at the end of last year, I did my best to make sure I got put in the easy group this year. Fred picked up the the book. Phew, thanks. Mom is real tight with our principals, so I'll bet she stepped in and made sure I got put in the gifted group again. Mom is always saying, I'm a smart kid, but that I just don't apply myself. But if there's one thing I learned from Roderick, it's to set people's expectations real low so you end up surprising them by practically doing nothing at all. Roderick, I want your dirty underwear off the kitchen table before I get home from work. Grunt. Later. Actually, I'm kind of glad my plan to get put on the easy group didn't work. I saw a couple of the Bink Says Boo kids holding their books upside down, and I don't think they were joking. Saturday. Well, the first week of school is finally over, so today I slept in. Most kids wake up early on Saturday to watch cartoons or whatever, but not me. The only reason I get out of bed at all on the weekends is because eventually I can't stand the taste of my own breath anymore. Smack, smack. Unfortunately, Dad wakes up at 6 in the morning no matter what day of the week it is, and he's not real considerate for the fact that I'm trying to enjoy my Saturday like a normal person. Vroom. I didn't have anything to do today, so I just headed up to Rowley's house. Rowley is technically my best friend, but that is definitely subject to change. I've been avoiding Rowley since the first day of school when he did something that really annoyed me. We are getting our stuff from our lockers at the end of the day, and Rowley came up to me and said, "Want to come over and play at my house and play?" I have told Rowley at least 1 billion times that now that we're in middle school, we're supposed to say hang out, not play. But no matter how many noogies I give him, he always forgets the next time. I've been trying to be a lot more careful about my image ever since I got to middle school, but having Rowley around is definitely not helping. I met Rowley a few years ago when he moved into my neighborhood. His mom bought him a book called How to Make Friends in New Places, and he came to my house trying all these dumb gimmicks. Knock, knock. Huh? Thermos? Excuse me? Thermos be some way to tickle your funny bone? Say what? I guess I kind of felt sorry for Rowley, and I decided to take him under my wing. It's been great having him around, mostly because I get to use all the tricks Roderick pulls on me. Did you know that if your hand is bigger than your face, it's a sign of low intelligence? Really? Ha, gotcha, whap. But do I have low intelligence? Let me check again. Monday. You know how I said I'd play all sorts of pranks on Rowley? Well, I have a little brother named Manny, and I could never get away with pulling any of that stuff on him. Mom and Dad protect Manny like he's a prince or something, and he never gets in trouble, even if he really deserves it. Yesterday, Manny drew a self-portrait on my bedroom door in permanent marker. I thought Mom and Dad were really going to let him have it, but as usual, I was wrong. Aww. But the thing that bugs me the most about Manny is the nickname he has for me. When he was a baby, he couldn't pronounce brother, so he started calling me Bubby. And he still calls me that now, even though I keep trying to get Mom and Dad to make him stop. Luckily, none of my friends have found out yet, but believe me, I've had some really close calls. Happy birthday, Greg. Hey, this one says it's to Bubby. Must be a mistake. Toss. Mom makes me help Manny get ready for school in the morning. After I make Manny his breakfast, he carries a cereal bowl into the family room and sits on his plastic potty. Ha! C is for cookie and cookie is for me. And when it's time for him to go to daycare, he gets up and dumps whatever he didn't eat right into the toilet. Dump. Mom is always getting on me about not finishing my breakfast, but if he had to scrape a cornflake out of the bottom of the plastic potty every morning, she wouldn't have much of an appetite either. Tuesday. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I am super good at video games. I'll bet I could beat anyone in my grade head to head. Unfortunately, Dad does not exactly appreciate my skills. He's always getting on me about going out and doing something active. So tonight after dinner, when Dad started hassling me about going outside, I tried to explain how, with video games, you can play sports like football and soccer, and you don't even have to get hot and sweaty. But as usual, Dad didn't see my logic. Dad is a pretty smart guy in general, but when it comes to common sense, sometimes I wonder about him. Slam. I'm sure Dad would dismantle my game system if he could figure out how to do it, but luckily the people who made these things made them parent-proof. Dag nad, these fancy gadgets. Every time Dad kicks me out of the house to do something sporty, I just go to Rowley's and play my video games there. Unfortunately, the only games I can play at Rowley's are car racing games and stuff like that. Because whenever I bring a game up to Rowley's house. His dad looks it up on some parent's website, and my game has any kind of fighting or violence in it. He won't let us play. I'm getting a little sick of playing Formula One racing with Rowley because he's not a serious gamer like me. All that you have to do is beat Rowley is name your car something ridiculous at the beginning of the game. And then when you pass Rowley's car, he just falls to pieces. Bad fart ahead. Anyway, after I got done mopping the floor with Rowley today, I headed home. I ran through the neighbor's sprinkler a couple times to make it look like I was all sweaty, and that seemed to do the trick for Dad. Phew. But my trick kind of backfired because as soon as Mom saw me, she made me go upstairs and take a shower. So we'll read the next part tomorrow. See you guys later. Happy Tuesday.